I can't do this, Elena. Not anymore.
I know.
I used to hate Elena for this. Let me start with a confession. For years, I was a diehard Stefan Salvatore fan. I screamed at my screen when Elena walked away from him. I called her selfish, ungrateful, and blind. I couldn't understand how she could abandon the man who loved her perfectly, who fought his own nature every single day just to be worthy of her, for a man who had hurt her over and over again. Then I rewatched the series for the third time. And I realized something. Elena wasn't crueler to Stefan because she loved him less. She was crueler to him because she loved him differently. She didn't just love him. She needed him to be perfect. This is not a hit piece on Elena. This is not a defense of Damon. This is a breakdown of the psychological trap that destroyed one of the most beloved relationships in television history. It's a trap we've all fallen into, putting someone on a pedestal so high that when they finally fall, we don't just feel disappointed, we feel betrayed. Let's go back to the beginning. Elena Gilbert had just lost her parents in a car crash. Her entire world had fallen apart. She was 17 years old, alone, and terrified. And then Stefan Salvatore walked into her life. Stefan was everything she needed. He was gentle, kind, patient, and protective. He never pushed her. He never hurt her. He was the only stable thing in her chaotic life. For Elena, Stefan wasn't just a boyfriend. He was her lifeline. He was proof that there was still good in the world, even after everything she had lost. And so Elena did something that would destroy their relationship. She put Stefan on a moral pedestal. She decided that he was the good brother, the one who would never hurt anyone, who would never give in to his vampire nature, who would always choose goodness. This is the halo effect working in reverse. We talked about this with Klaus. When we see one good thing about a person, we ignore all their flaws. But with Stefan, it was even more extreme. Elena didn't just ignore his flaws. She refused to believe he had any. She created an impossible standard for him, a standard that no human, and certainly no vampire, could ever live up to. Stefan had to be perfect 100% of the time. He couldn't be angry. He couldn't be selfish. He couldn't make a mistake. Because if he did, he would stop being the savior she needed him to be. The worst part? Stefan knew this, and he tried. He tried so hard to be the man Elena wanted him to be. He starved himself. He locked himself away. He fought his bloodlust every single day, not for himself, but for her. He became a prisoner of her expectations. This is the tragedy of their relationship. Elena didn't love Stefan for who he was. She loved him for who she wanted him to be. The moment everything changed was when Stefan became the Ripper. For most fans, this was the moment Elena showed her true colors. She didn't try to save him. She didn't stand by him. She just walked away. She looked at the man she loved, covered in blood, and said, "I don't know who you are anymore." And for years, I hated her for that line. But now I understand what she really meant. She wasn't saying she didn't know Stefan anymore. She was saying she didn't know herself anymore. Because if Stefan wasn't perfect, then nothing she believed in was real. Stefan's Ripper phase didn't just break Stefan. It broke Elena's entire worldview. She had built her entire life around the idea that Stefan was good, that he was different from Damon, that he would never hurt anyone. And when that idea shattered, she had nothing left. This is why she was so much harder on Stefan than she ever was on Damon. When Damon killed someone, it didn't surprise her. It didn't shatter her world, because she never expected Damon to be good. She expected him to be bad. So when he was bad, he was just being Damon. But when Stefan killed someone, it was a betrayal. It was proof that everything she had believed was a lie. It meant that there was no safety, no goodness, no hope, that even the best man in the world could become a monster. Elena didn't punish Stefan for killing people. She punished him for breaking her illusion. She punished him for not being the perfect man she had created in her head. She punished him for making her face the truth, that no one is ever completely good and no one is ever completely safe. And the worst part? She was right to be scared. Because Stefan's Ripper side was unpredictable. It was uncontrollable. It was a part of him that even he didn't understand. And Elena couldn't save him. She couldn't fix him. For the first time in their relationship, she was completely powerless. This brings us to the most counterintuitive truth of the entire series. Damon's badness made him safer for Elena. Let me explain. From the very first day they met, Damon told Elena exactly who he was. He said, "I'm a monster. I will hurt you. I will disappoint you." He never pretended to be anything he wasn't. He never promised to be good. Because of that, Elena never had any illusions about Damon. She never put him on a pedestal. She never expected him to be perfect. So when he did something bad, she wasn't surprised. She wasn't betrayed. Kate was just angry, and anger is much easier to deal with than betrayal. This is the paradox of predictability. A known evil is always safer than an unknown good. You can prepare for it. You can set boundaries. But when someone you thought was perfect suddenly becomes a monster, you have nothing to prepare for. You have no boundaries. Elena also believed that Damon's violence was honest. When Damon killed someone, he didn't make excuses. He didn't pretend it was for the greater good. He just did it. And for Elena, that honesty was refreshing. It was real. Stefan's violence, on the other hand, felt like a lie. Because he spent so much time pretending to be good, when he finally gave in to his bloodlust, it felt like a betrayal. It felt like he had been lying to her this entire time. This is not to say that Damon was better than Stefan. He wasn't. Damon killed more people. He was more selfish, more cruel, and more reckless. But he was predictable. And in a world where everything was falling apart, predictability was the greatest luxury Elena could ask for. So now you understand. Elena wasn't crueler to Stefan because she loved him less. She was crueler to him because he meant more to her. He was her moral anchor, her proof that goodness existed. And when he broke, she broke too. But this is only half the story. Because the question still remains, why did Elena forgive Damon for everything? Why did she stay with him through all his spirals, all his mistakes, all his violence? Most people will say it's because she loved him more, but that's not true. The real reason is much darker, much more selfish, and much more relatable than you think. Ask yourself this. Have you ever put someone on a pedestal? Have you ever expected them to be perfect? And have you ever punished them when they finally let you down? The answer might surprise you.